Man takes a podcast takes the podcast, and then the podcast takes a man. It's Haunted Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Throw Smiley. I eat screams and drink pain. By screams, by screams, I mean corn dogs, and by pain, I mean cherry 7-Up. Sorry, Josh.
I forgot to write some down. That was the only thing I've ever read. All right. I'm Josh Cece, but you can call me Mr. Sleep.
Remember, cause a wheel, Doc. I'm Brian Lesh.
You're wondering why I'm wearing such a funny hat. I'm Eller Whoever.
I am Al.
Cheech the hat.
Yeah, we don't want to say anything.
Johnny Shoes.
I feel like there's a little propeller. This is Haunted Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch spooky movies all October. We look into the production and source background and we tell you about it. This show is brought to you by patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron. It's very easy. It costs $1 at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. There's a lot of bonus content there. We've got monthly movies that don't show up on the main feed. We've got a Star Wars miniseries, a bunch of holiday shows, music stuff. So go check it out. Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. This week on Haunted Phosphorescence, we are watching Dr. Sleep.
When I was a kid, there was a place. A dark place. They closed it down and let it rot. But the things that lived there...
Hello, Danny.
They come back.
Not many ride the bus this far north. You're running away from something?
I'm running away from myself, I guess.
Hi. You can hear me. You're magic. Like me.
I don't know about magic. I always called it the Shining. The world is a hungry place. A dangerous place.
These people, they hurt people like us.
These empty devils, they'll eat what shines. And they've noticed that little girl.
Wow, hi there.
Get out of my head! Get out!
I haven't felt power like that in so long.
They're coming. Where are we going?
There's a place. You sure you want to do this?
I'm ready.
Yes, you run, dear. And then I will find you, and you will scream for years.
Come and play with us forever and ever.
Dr. Sleep. It was released November 8th, 2019 by Warner Brothers. It has a running time of 152 minutes. It cost $55 million. That made $72 million. So it did all right. Wasn't a runaway hit.
Yeah. That trailer, really, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that trailer sold it. Absolutely.
But I mean, just imagine the closed minds, the Kubrick fans, the fan bases that are just angry.
Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, yeah.
Kubert.
Yeah.
I miss Kubert. That's a fun game.
Remember the Saturday morning cartoon?
Yes.
It was terrible. Yeah, it did all right. It is proof that Warner Brothers can do a connected cinematic universe if they want to. But
Well, and this also follows up The Dark Tower that failed terribly.
Oh, that was so.
I haven't seen it, and I love it.
No.
Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey.
I was like, I'm not going to watch this. They did the whole series as 1 hour-and-a-half movie. No, I'm not going to watch that.
I didn't.
What a bummer.
Yeah, no.
Because there's like 8 books of that, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Bizarro Hobbit.
It's like 10,000 pages long. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. It's an epic.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it did all right money-wise, but not tremendously. But I think that means we should play the box office top 10 game.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week using the Box Office Mojo description for the most part. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movie I'm describing. Just briefly, number 12 and 11 is Parasite and Jojo Rabbit. Which, yeah, those have both been out a while, though. So, yeah. Let's see. So, at number 10 for the week of November 8th, 2019. An eccentrically macabre family moves to a bland suburb.
Addams Family Values.
It's the Addams Family, the animated one.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I forgot that existed. I heard it was fine. Just fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's crazy how the Addams Family is one of those things that's like really like maintained its place in the zeitgeist with, like Gen Z.
Yeah, it's almost like a mutant turtle situation. Like
Yeah.
it stands up no matter what generation.
Yeah.
With Wednesday and all.
Yep.
When's season 2 of Wednesday coming out?
Oh, who knows? They haven't even started filming.
And will they call it Thursday?
Did you brief tangent, have you guys watched Gen V yet?
Yeah,
The
oh
first
yeah.
few?
No.
Yes, I have.
That roommate is just Wednesday's roommate.
Yeah, isn't she?
Yeah.
I did think about that.
Yeah, like immediately. That was all. Yeah. So, all right, at number 9 on the box office top 10. A group of protagonists move to the American heartland as they face off against challenges. There's no way to describe this movie without giving it away.
Face off Family Values.
Family value. Just add family value. Fast and Furious.
Starring Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Anna Breslin.
Zombieland Dose.
Double tap. Yeah.
That I love when their counterparts show up. Thomas Middleditch
Yes.
and I can't remember. Yeah, so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, both of those movies are.
Who was
great.
the woman at the end too? Is that Rosario Dawson?
I think so, wasn't it?
Yeah. She runs the love nest place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Zombieland's great. At number 8 this week. An extraordinary tale of one woman's escape from slavery and transformation into America's greatest hero.
Pretty Woman. Family Values.
So I think this might be starring Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan as
Grandma.
Harriet Tubman. It's Harriet.
His Thomas Jefferson project.
Yeah, it's Harriet, the Harriet Tubman movie. And,
it is.
And I did not see this, but she's like on the cover. She has like a cool cowboy hat cocked, and she has a pistol, and she's like, "Let's kick some ass."
Let's do this.
Is that Cynthia Erivo?
Yes.
Supposedly she
this
sings.
Underground Railroad.
She sings in the movie.
Oh, it's
and
a musical?
Incredible. No, it's not a musical,
Okay.
but I mean there there were songs
Because Janelle
that
Monáe's in
people
it
sung.
too. So.
Yeah, well, and Janelle
songs
Monáe-
were a method of communication between
that,
clips,
that white people tended to ignore. Too.
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Let them have that.
But Cynthia Erivo's got an incredible singing voice. That was the one thing I was like, oh, it'd be really interesting to see that done tastefully. You know.
Yeah.
Actually, throw on 30 Rock. Alec Baldwin plays Harriet.
That's right.
In the dreams.
No.
Oh, he plays Nixon. Yeah, all kinds of people.
You remember when he's confessing to the priest, he was like, under deposition, I once proclaimed that I was God. Which is a reference to the film Malice from 1993. in which he starred as a surgeon, in the deposition he proclaimed, "You ask if I have a God complex? I am God."
I am God.
Number 7 this week. A mean lady and her goddaughter begin to question the complex family ties that bind them as they are. I'm sorry, just see what this movie is in this description. That bind them as they are pulled in different directions by impending nuptials, unexpected allies, and dark new forces at play. What the fuck is this movie?
Band of Brothers.
This is a Disney film based on a classic cartoon. And it's a sequel to, I don't know, this could be the 3rd or 4th as far as I'm aware. I've never watched any of these.
Oh, is it Cruella?
No, but it's that same kind of thing. But it predates Cruella. This is a sequel.
The original? Oh.
This is a sequel to a live action Disney take on one of their classic animated films from before our time.
Jungle Book?
No. Stars Angelina Jolie. She had.
Magnifica.
No, the Malevolent.
Maleficent.
Oh.
This is a sequel. It's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I don't know what number. I don't know how many they made. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I think it's at
know.
least 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a sequel that didn't need to be made.
Yeah. At number 6 this week, during the 1980s, a failed stand-up comedian is driven insane and turns to a life of crime.
The Joker.
The Smoker. The Midnight Toker.
Night Toker.
Yes, indeed. At number 5, oh, this movie. An augmented human and a woman must stop a robot from hunting down a young girl.
So a human and a woman?
An augmented human and a woman, yes.
So human and woman. All right.
Is it a Terminator?
It is a Terminator. It is Dark Fate.
This is with what's her face?
Yeah, Linda Hamilton came back.
Well, and the gal from Station 11 too. She's the good augmented human.
Okay, yeah, this is the one I haven't seen. I watched whatever Genesis, whatever that one was. I've seen all of them through that, but I have not seen this one.
This one is the sequel to Terminator 2. Like, obviously there are more movies.
Terminator 3.
Yeah, but I mean, like this one is like this is the timeline was not broken after Terminator 2. They time traveled back somehow or something.
The Terminator series timeline is fucking crazy.
Well, and this one was Sarah Connor is no longer the chosen one. It's now a gal from Mexico who is having a kid.
Okay.
And they sent a Terminator back to rescue the kid or something. I don't know. It turns out Sarah Connor.
The gal. Did you mean a human or a woman?
A human woman.
What? All right.
At number opening. Wow. The top 4 movies are all opening this week. Opening at number 4 this week. Kate is a young woman subscribed to Bad Decisions. I don't have that one. I've got Hulu and Netflix, but I don't have Bad Decisions. Working as an elf in a year-round Christmas store.
Oh, shit. There's Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah. But she meets Tom there, and her life takes a new turn that seems too good to be true. The
Fred Claus?
No, the tagline on the cover is sometimes you've just gotta have faith, which is a hint to the name. Faith, the faith. You gotta have
Preacher's
faith,
elf
the faith.
girlfriend.
George Michael.
Featuring the music of George Michael and Wham!
Father figure.
No.
What the fuck
That's a
is
very
happening?
different movie.
I didn't know that
this is
was
a
a
Christmas movie.
Oh.
And what Wham song?
Oh, Last Christmas.
Last Christmas, starring Amelia Clark and Henry Golding. Okay.
It just sounds like
The
a
Henry
Simpsons
Golding?
episode.
5-0?
Have you guys seen the
Warren.
newer, the modern Simpsons episode where they do the Christmas thing with I forget who plays the woman, but it's Skinner and some big city woman, and they fall in love. They're filming a Hallmark movie
they do
in Springfield. It's adorable. It's one of my favorite newer episodes.
I'm always like on the verge of deciding to watch Modern Simpsons, but I never quite pull that trigger.
Watch the last 2 seasons. They're surprisingly good. I'm on season 15 right now, like the 9/11 era, and it's so interesting watching all the like anti-Fox, anti-war stuff. I just watched Homer mooning the flag and then getting sent to Guantanamo. And the episode that follows that is Burns buying all the newspapers except for Lisa's, which is the last one that he needs to buy to control the media.
I remember that episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
mean,
an interesting run of episodes post 9/11.
Everyone involved with the show said Mr. Burns was Rupert Murdoch. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Always was.
That's the Pie Man episodes are in there too. Those are all post 9/11, like we need a hero kind of thing. Anyways.
Opening at number 3 this week, a movie which I am only this very moment discovering exists. A crew of rugged firefighters meet their match when attempting to rescue 3 rambunctious kids. Starring John Leguizamo, Keegan-Michael Key, and John Cena.
3 obnoxious kids, 3 obnoxious fathers.
It looks
Whether
like
I
3 men and 3 little ladies is what it looks
the-
like this movie is.
3 men, 3 little ladies, evenly matched.
And there's a dog. There's a wacky dog, and he's wearing a firefighter's helmet.
Oh, he's a rascal.
He is. It's called Playing with Fire. And John and all 3 of the guys.
Funny, I exploded. I blew up the kids.
All 3 of the guys
Again.
are standing there with their arms crossed and their heads cocked, like, what are we gonna do with these kids?
Yeah, we're a daddy daycare.
Opening at number 2 this week. Years following the events of The Shining, a now adult Dan Torrance must protect a young girl with similar powers from a cult known as the True Knot, who prey on children with powers to remain immortal.
Children of the Corn.
So specific.
Family values.
Children of the Corn. Family values.
The Tarnishing. Yeah.
The tarnishing.
The
weirding.
And opening at number 1 this week. Oh God, how do I even just? I can't read the description as written here because
It's a superhero movie, I'm guessing.
It is not.
Oh.
I will read the. Let's see. It's starring Patrick Wilson, Aaron Eckhart, Dennis Quaid, and Woody Harrelson.
Oh my goodness.
From the director of Independence Day, based on real events.
Is this Moonfall?
No. This is an historical drama. It looks like.
Can you tell us approximately when?
It's a World War II historical drama, made by what's his face? What is the Independence guy?
Not Verhoeven.
Not Verhoeven.
Shit.
It's
Fuck, I
Michael
know.
Bay. What's the other guy who makes
No.
those crappy movies?
Not Gore Verbinski. He did the Pirates.
Oh, no.
Indy-
It's Roland Emmerich.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So it's a natural disaster.
I mean, kinda, but it's a World War II movie starring Dennis Quaid and Woody Harrelson. They're definitely tapping
Yeah,
into the
greatest generation.
Aaron Eckhart
It sounds like a neighborhood dad barbecue.
and Mandy Moore.
Oh, okay.
What?
Let's see. The Bridge on the River.
Oh, and Patrick Wilson,
Why?
of course. Patrick Wilson.
Two. We rebuilt the bridge.
Bridge 2. the Quai. No.
the quieting.
It's called Midway.
Oh,
Yeah. Apparently,
Really?
Roland Emmerich
Midway.
made a Midway movie.
Wow.
It went on to
That's the first movie about Guam ever made.
yeah. Tell me that Dennis Quaid was MacArthur, wasn't he? He was the general.
No, Woody Harrelson is.
Is MacArthur?
I mean, he
I'm
does
pretty
kinda look
sure.
like him.
What did
actually,
you-
No,
now I'm
he's
thinking about
Woody Harrelson is an admiral.
Okay.
it. Oh. Is he Nimitz?
No,
What is he?
but what is he in the movie, Al?
His father was a hitman, right?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are theories
yeah,
that he
there's some
killed,
crazy
that he,
stuff.
that he was the grassy knoll shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that is.
Whose son was on Cheers? World has always been weird.
Yeah. So that is the box office top 10. That brings us to the film. I'm going to briefly talk about the book. Very briefly. There are a few.
But before you do, friends at home, we did do The Shining as a monthly movie. Another reason to join the Patreon, but we really got in depth.
Yeah, The Shining was a big, long one, and we really did a deep dive on that one. That is, as Josh said, on patreon.com/harmless entertainment. $1 a month. That's all you need. $1. You don't even have to keep subscribing. You can pay $1, listen to all the old ones over the course of a month, and then unsubscribe. But why
you don't
would
have
you?
to take care of the boiler. We'll do that for you.
All right. So, yeah, this was based on the Stephen King novel Dr. Sleep, which was published in 2013. Now, obviously, it's the sequel to The Shining. Stephen King said he would just start thinking about, well, what was Danny up to as an adult? A few key differences between the book and the film is mostly what I want to focus on. It starts with one of the first key differences is Abra Stone, as a baby in 2001, predicted 9/11.
I'm so glad that didn't make it into the fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
It's such a weird story beat.
Yes, it is.
He always has a moment like the the exploratory scene in It that the kids, the sex scene. He always has at least one where it's just like, it's not scary, it's not titillating, it's just like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know where he went that day, but we can't do that.
Yeah, these are all like red flags about him where it's like, oh man, you just keep putting these red flags up, but you seem okay. Still.
Right. That like he has so many red flags in his work, but also to this day, not even back when he was a cokehead, even to this day he does, but there's nothing that has ever come out about him. He seems like a totally all right dude.
Writers are generally boring people.
Yeah, exactly. He's in love with his typewriter, and his
He has
house
an
in Maine.
imagination. He has an imagination, and he can afford to sit around and think.
I heard recently that apparently his wife has been posting on social media that he's driving her absolutely insane because he's currently obsessed with Mambo Number 5, the song. And,
I love
is
that.
Playing it nonstop.
Did he miss it when it came out in the 90s?
Maybe.
He's like, baby, you got to listen to this. It says your name in it. Monica, listen.
No, Tabitha is her name.
Is her name really Tabitha?
Isn't that the daughter?
Tabitha King.
Or is that his
Maybe
wife?
she's name.
Is
That's his wife.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, you're
that
right.
could be another red flag.
Another major difference in the book versus the film. Most of the True Knot end up dying, not from a gun battle, but because when they kill the baseball kid, he gives them all measles.
No.
Yes. He gives
That's
them
so
measles.
much worse.
It's like a smallpox situation.
Yeah.
Well, in the lead up to COVID, now I'm like, that makes sense. You know, they didn't get vaccinated. They believed the earth was flat and that they could drink people's spirits.
They made fun of him in it chapter 2, but like about the endings. James McAvoy's character, Bill Denbrough, just nobody likes the endings to his book.
Right.
Or the showdowns.
And speaking of the big ending in the book, so the ending in the film was actually, for the most part, the original ending from The Shining, the book The Shining. The boiler room burning down, all that. That was in
the burning of the hotel.
That was in The Shining, not Dr. Sleep.
The boiler.
But in Dr. Sleep, the book ends. They push Rose off the roof of the hotel. She dies. And then as Abra and Danny drive away, they turn back and see the ghost of Jack Torrance smiling and waving at them.
Jedi
way.
style?
Yes.
Dead Jedi style?
Yes.
With We'll Meet Again playing in the background or whatever.
Time goes by.
Yeah, time goes by.
You must remember this.
And so, okay, another major difference. It turns out that Abra's mother in the book is the illegitimate love child of Jack Torrance. So Abra is literally Danny's niece.
Wow. So her saying that in the movie, like, well, that's not
is less creepy
true.
in the book.
Yeah. So
yeah.
In the movie, we're
honestly,
kind of with Abra's dad, like I
really like how they handled all of that in this movie. I thought that was really cool that they made it part of the plot. Where he's like, "Dude, you what? I can't sit with a teenage girl on a bench. Kidding me?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like, "We're all magical," like,
well, or like him, and when he was a kid, sitting with a much older black man. Again, nobody cared.
But at the time, it didn't matter.
Not that
whereas today,
but
it really matters. You know, like it was a cool. I love how this brought modern sensibilities into the world of The Shining.
One last difference. There were still a few members of the True Knot alive that didn't die from the measles that went to the Overlook with Rose the Hat, and those were killed off because in the book the dying grandmother was an actual character, and Danny went to Dr. Sleeper as she died and collected her steam, saved it in his lungs. And when he went to the Overlook, blew it into their faces, so they all died of her cancer. Because her steam had cancer, because she was dying of cancer.
Cancer steam.
Yes.
I'm so glad they avoided all these weird overcomplications with the steam.
That's so yeah. So like so for the listeners, you know, in our group chat, I was saying how Stephen King-y this movie was, but then I read this description, I was like, nope. They absolutely de-kingified it by at least 50%.
At least, yeah. Those are all.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Of course you have to.
No, that man is insane. His books are insane. It's crazy that he's the most successful writer of all time when his books are so completely out of their minds.
Well,
yeah, some are so inaccessible that it's hard to.
That's the fun, though. I mean, his process is literally just write the book, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just writes a book, and it just comes out of him. He's not like, okay, I want it to end with them pushing her off the roof. He's like, all right. And then they get on the roof, and he push her up. That's what I like about King's writing, is that it all just kind of flows out of a dude's brain like he's making up a story on the spot.
Well, we were just talking about it recently, but where he has these almost George Lucas responses to things. Where just like, I wondered what it would be like to write a story about a guy who's in two places at once. It's like, that's an oversimplification, isn't it? But it's not. Yeah, he just pumps that book out. Just pumps it out.
Yeah.
Like, what if cell phones could be used, in a supernatural type, there you go.
What if an alien was a clown that was living in a town for 100 years?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he said. What if a town was haunted? What if a whole town was under some sort of evil spell?
Well, and The Shining was what about a
1,200
hotel
pages.
built on an Indian burial ground, that takes the souls of the caretaker. Kind of dope.
So
Yeah, the places are inhabited. It's not just a haunted house.
So we talked about King fairly in depth on the Shining episode. Oh, and also we've talked about him a little bit on the
Mist.
The Mist. Just real quickly, the man has written 65 novels. As 11,
That's it?
11
Yeah, that seems low.
11 collections of short stories, 19 screenplays, and 16 others, which also include his novellas.
Wow.
And he got hit by a van.
Yes, he did. But that does not count the collection of novellas and the upcoming novel, which haven't been published yet, but are due to be published this year and next year. The
He
man,
earns his
Right.
paychecks.
Yeah.
the man writes like he has 65 novels and has been publishing for 49 years. He averages and that along with all the short stories, he averages about a book and a half a year for 50 years.
I bet being his editor is one of the easiest jobs in the world.
Yeah.
Like he's like clockwork. We don't have to worry about Steve. We gave you an advance. It's been a year now.
Well, and it's Stephen King, so you don't change any story elements. You're just like, all right, I spell checked it. It's good.
He's like the
Well, I mean, an author has their
like
editor.
hounding him to
that
provide
person doesn't
work.
go with a red pen and edit the book. They're just the guy that deals with the publishing company. But yeah, I'm sure that's an easy job. Every year, dude throws you a book.
He's like the anti-George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, we should swap them out real quick.
The
There'll be a bunch of magic
J.D.
black people
Salinger.
riding dragons by the end of the story.
Yeah, let's just let Stephen King finish out A Song of Ice and Fire. Give him the notes and let him go. So
Actually, he would kill it. Eyes of the Dragon is one of my favorite novels.
that is a
just in
great
general.
novel. Yeah.
That's a great fantasy novel.
King wrote a fantasy novel?
It's a straight fantasy novel, and it's what he ended up using as the basis for the world of the Dark Tower. It was like
Really?
Brando Flag, the Man in Black.
Yeah,
is
the
in
walking
that.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. You'd like it. It's such a quick read too.
yeah, it was one of my favorites. I read it like 3 or 4 times as a kid.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't even know
I
that
still
existed.
have my copy. Ella just read it recently because she loves.
I love The Stand still to this day. So anything that's got Randall Flagg in it. I haven't read any of the Dark Tower because there's just so much to chew on.
What was that one he wrote with the other guy that was also like a weird kind? It was like
the
Peter
Talisman.
Straub.
the Talisman. with
Yeah.
Peter Straub.
Yeah,
That was
with
so
Straub,
good.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Stephen King wrote Dr. Sleep, published in 2013. It was written, the screenplay was written and directed by Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, probably at this point, I think best known both for probably Ouija, however you're supposed to say it, Origin of Evil, and the Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor series.
He did the Netflix.
And Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
And he sort of has a rep company of actors that he uses, sort of like Ryan Murphy in his American Horror Story type thing, which I think is cool. Like Henry Thomas is in every season as a different character.
He has an upcoming The Fall of the House of Usher.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why don't
So far,
people try to adapt Edgar Allan Poe more?
He's been 3 for 3 on those Netflix series. The Midnight Mass, I was riveted the whole way through. So good.
He's coming into his own.
It looks
like as far as this new horror kind of.
It looks like The Fall of the House of Usher is going to be a kind of general Edgar Allan Poe verse. It looks like he uses a lot of Edgar Allan Poe stories to tell like it doesn't look like it's anthology, but like just kind of the universe of Edgar Allan Poe, weird and creepy.
That's cool.
If I hadn't heard of it before, but there's a Christian Bale movie on Netflix called The Pale Blue Eye, and actually Edgar Allan Poe is a character in it. When he was at West Point, which a lot of people don't know that he attended West Point.
Yeah, got
kicked out for gambling and drinking. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. Check it out. You guys would like it.
He smoked opium too, right? That was his.
Yeah, and he had an allergy to alcohol. Like he wouldn't just get drunk. Like his brain.
Edgar Allan Poe is a character in the Dickinson show too, right? With what's her face, Hawkeye.
Oh,
I thought she was a regular character because it's like a weird, surreal.
Yeah, I never watched that, so I don't know.
I've just seen some clips of it, and I'm pretty sure I remember seeing. I think it's like I don't know if it's like Matthew Gray Gubler or somebody weird who plays him.
Huh. So, Mike Flanagan basically brought this to Stephen King. Stephen King, famously non-averse to people making films of his books.
Well, and still not a fan of The Shining.
Still not a fan of The Shining. He brought it to him and had to pitch to him that there would be a direct connection to the film The Shining and he sold it to him by replacing the ending with the original Shining book ending. That's what sold Stephen King on it having a connection to the Kubrick film.
I remember seeing him talk about this movie and reflecting on The Shining and saying like how he still to this day doesn't agree with all the choices that Kubrick made, but he understands its place in the culture now because people have been like banging on that door for 30 years now saying like, dude, come on, it's better than your book. It's better than your book. It's better than your book. And of course, he takes that very personally.
Sure.
But now I think he understands that people appreciate both, but the movie connects with more people.
He did say about Dr. Sleep, the film, everything that I ever disliked about the Kubrick version of The Shining is redeemed for me here. He loved this movie.
It arguably undoes the knot that we talked about in our Shining episode, talking about the sexual assault of Danny at the Overlook.
Yes,
because we see those sequences from Danny's perspective, and he never goes into the room.
No.
I don't know if that's the thing that King was hung up on. I don't think it was necessarily, but that's an interesting little turn of the key for that to be like, well, and now that theory is closed.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that was honestly Kubrick's intention.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely,
100%. Nothing else happened in that house.
No. The other thing that convinced King was he showed him the scene involving Dan talking to bartender Jack, which was not in the book but was written by Mike Flanagan for the film.
It's a cool moment. It's weird, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm. The actor versions of Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson are very interesting because there are absolute moments that they hit that are very like on the nose. Those actors' performances from The Shining.
The voice of Shelley Duvall was one of those things where I just like. There were a couple of moments where I was shaking my head and looking back up at the screen and going like, "Oh, okay, that's not Shelley."
The voice is.
I wonder if they used some audio from the original film.
I overdubbed it? Yeah.
Because there are times when you hear her saying, like when he's sitting on the bench and she's screaming.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like old.
It does.
Old audio.
It does sound like audio from The Shining specifically. Alternately, it bugged the hell out of me that the "Great Party, Isn't It?" line was not in a British accent.
Yeah.
That bugged me so hard.
Well, and that leads to the weird ambiguity around that character in the movie. Because at one point there is a British caretaker, and then there's an American guy, right? Weren't there?
Well, no. Well, no, because Grady in the film is British, but he was not supposed to be British.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't supposed to be British.
It's because Kubrick filmed in England, and they found a British character actor for the role.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a British voice.
Yeah. So, the film stars Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance. Ewan McGregor, not going to go through Ewan McGregor. He's fucking Obi-Wan. Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat. Rebecca Ferguson. What is she probably best known? Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, Dune now.
Oh, that's Dune.
She was in. Did she do The Hunt? Was she in that small horror movie?
Let me see.
I haven't seen it.
She
was in Silo on Apple, which is supposed to be really good.
Oh yeah, I've heard
that's
good.
I haven't checked it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and she was also in Men in Black International.
Is that the Hemsworth one?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think at this point, best known for Dune and Mission Impossible. We have Kylie Curran as Abra. A little on the nose with your character names there, Steven. She's magic, and her name is Abra.
It's a cute name, but again, it really leans into. I think it's King at this point, like making fun of himself. That he's like, I made a magic black character and I named her Abra, and she's a little girl this time instead of being an old person. Ooh.
I mean, the magic black character thing at this point is you can't win. I mean, if he didn't have a black character at all, and it was just a bunch of white people, then he would get shit as well. I mean, you're right. It's a theme of his. It's but
it's one of those things.
Little black girls.
The only black characters he has are magical, except for Dad, who's a writer. So.
Well, I mean, Mike
a writer in the movie.
Mike in it is not magical in any.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
There's no magical black character in that.
Was Mike written as a black character in the book?
Absolutely.
Really?
The ink spot was this that was one of the times it came out because it was the racism and the hate and.
That's right. Okay, I do remember that. Yeah.
He was absolutely black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kylie Curran.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, and
but I'm just saying,
the Stand and the Shining are hard.
2023, dude can't win, no matter. You know what I mean? Yeah. So a black girl character is a good choice.
Yeah. Well, and just
if your protagonist is a middle-aged white guy, that's a good choice.
And it's Maine. I mean, there's not all black.
No. This is New Hampshire.
Oh, which also I'm sure there's not a lot of black folks in New Hampshire either.
Everything north of Boston is all just one thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
As your resident New Englander, there we have
that's all right. Kylie Curran. She got her start playing Nala in the Lion King Broadway production. This is her film debut. She's currently starring in Secrets of Sulphur Springs, which is a Disney series about a haunted hotel. And she's going to be in the upcoming Fall of the House of Usher that Mike Flanagan is making.
That's cool.
Yeah. She's good.
Yeah.
She's young to be playing Nala. That's interesting. Or she's probably playing young Nala. Duh.
Yeah. Carl Lumbly took over the role of Dick Halloran. He was.
I got to give credit to everyone playing an actor from The Shining. Yeah. The chick who played Wendy.
Yeah.
She even had that Judy Garland, Shelley Duvall. Oh, Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
The Mickey Mouse voice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, like Judy Garland was her mom. She had to say, "Oh, Toto."
Yes.
Yeah, Mickey, but also sort of 70s Paul Lynde type comedian.
Who is the actor that played Dick?
Dick Halloran was played by Carl Lumbly.
He has the Scatman Crothers vibe.
It definitely worked.
This dude has been in so many things. His first film was Escape from Alcatraz. 1979. Wild. He was in Caveman.
He's so much older than I thought he was.
Yeah, Caveman.
He's in Caveman.
Yeah, with Ringo. He was in Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh,
we have to do that for the show.
Oh God, I want you so bad.
He was in Coming to America.
Really?
Yeah. God, yeah. This guy's worked. He's done a lot of Warner Brother DC voice work in animated movies.
That makes sense.
Got a good deep voice.
Al is muted.
He's usually playing a Martian of some sort, not Martian Manhunter.
Just a regular, like Steve the
Just
Martian.
other Martians.
Yeah.
I guess there would be more.
He is Isaiah Bradley in the MCU.
Oh, yeah, he
That's
was.
where I recognized his face from. Holy shit. Well, they aged him up a bunch and gave him like the splotchy old man skin.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that there wasn't a scene of him in this movie in his apartment with the like the Soul Sister poster.
Zon McClarnon.
Zon McClarnon?
Zon McClarnon.
Marklar.
Marklar.
Wow, that is a name. Zon McClarnon as Crow Daddy.
Well, that's his name?
Yeah.
He's Hansi in Fargo.
Yeah, and he's from what's it called? He's big. From
Reservoir Dogs? Right?
Reservation Dogs.
Yeah.
Reservation Dogs. Yeah.
And he's the protagonist of that one episode of Westworld where they did it all in Lakota.
Oh yeah. He is an indigenous actor,
name.
obviously. If we,
He was in season 2. I had no idea that was his name. I knew he didn't have like an indigenous.
Yeah, but
tribal
Zon
name.
McClarn.
But Zon McClarn.
McClarnon.
McClarnon.
Well,
He's an Irish McClarn.
He's fantastic in Fargo season 2.
He's
so
an
good.
incredible actor.
Yeah.
Every
He
time
is
I
great.
see him, he is just riveting.
He is great.
Even when he's being funny, he's really good. In Reservation Dogs, he's incredible.
And let's not forget History of the World Part 2.
Oh yeah, isn't that? That really worked. Don't get me started.
His first role was in the American dub of My Neighbor Totoro.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wild. Way to break in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Studio.
He did
Ghibli.
a lot of voice work in like the 90s and 2000s. He was in Tequila and Bonetti and an episode of Baywatch and Murphy Brown. Wow, he's been working. Dude's worked for years.
He has a good voice.
He's such a small dude with such a big presence. He's so fun to watch because he's not tall at all, and you put him on screen with a bunch of actors who are generally tall people, and he just really you can't help but stare at him while he's on screen. I love watching him act.
Yeah, he's great.
Speaking of working, he was in 2 episodes of In Living Color.
Woo!
What? Good for him, McLaren in the hand.
I'm Team Zarn all the way, man.
Team Zarn.
Zoltan.
Yeah, exactly. Prawn.
Emily Eileen Lind plays Snakebite Andy. That is not Chloe Grace Moritz.
No, and she's not. I have questions about her, even though I read the book.
She's gotten her start. She's probably, I don't know what she's best known as. I guess Gossip Girl, the Gossip Girl remake that they did.
Pretty young. I mean,
yeah.
The first thing she was in was her mother, and
she's like 21 years old currently. So
I thought she was from that zombie show, the like I Zombie.
You mean Zombie
show.
View?
I thought that was the gal from I Zombie, but I can't tell. I didn't watch it.
I Zombie.
She is not. No, she is not.
Oh.
She is.
I Zom, therefore I am.
Yeah, she's been working since she was a little kid. She was in the Secret Life of Bees when she was like 6 years old.
The Secret Life of Bees.
Yes, she's in the Babysitter movies, not the Babysitter Club, but the horror film series.
Yeah, I think they're on Netflix.
Yeah, the Babysitter and the Babysitter Killer Queen. And she's going to be in the
Babysitter Fight Club.
She's going to be in the upcoming Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. With her look, I'm wondering if she's going to be like Sigourney Weaver's like kid or something.
wonder.
I could see that.
Bruce
With Venkman?
Yeah, Venkman and Sigourney Weaver's kid. That would make sense.
Bruce Greenwood.
Oh, it was a son in Ghostbusters too, right? It wasn't a daughter. The baby.
I think you're right. It is a son.
So, but Bruce Greenwood played Dr. John Dalton. That was the guy that gave him a job in the Shining office.
Dr. John. Yeah, the Shining office.
Yeah.
Which is a cool little touch.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that.
Flanagan inserts the magic window in a few different scenes, including even like he and Wendy's own apartment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a weird setup. That outside window.
Jocelyn Donahue plays Lucy Stone, Abra's mom.
Just to go back, Bruce Greenwood, he's worked our entire life. We've seen him.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was in Gerald's Game, which I think Mike Flanagan also did.
Yeah.
But he was really good in that. Check it out. It's on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah.
Carla Gugino, who's been in all of his projects as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bruce Greenwood is been in so many things going back 30 years.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention Gerald.
He was great in this too.
Yeah.
He was Captain Christopher Pike in the Star Trek reboot.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
sure was.
Yep. Yeah. So Jocelyn Donahue as Abra's mom. I don't know. She's a lot of supporting roles over the years. Cliff Curtis as Billy, the Dan's friend.
He's great.
He
was in Once Were Warriors, New Zealand movie. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He was in Training Day, which is
he was.
He plays a Chicano dude in Training Day, but he's
he plays with the uncle of the chick,
the creepy uncle. Yeah.
And he was in Three Kings.
And
Yes, he was,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Whale Rider. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in just about anything big that comes out of New Zealand. Him and what's her name, Rachel House, are the two biggest names besides Tamura.
He was Tonawari in Avatar: The Way of Water.
That's right. He's the water chief. Yeah.
The water chief. Okay, I did not know who Tonawari was.
And
I saw that movie.
I recognized his voice and face immediately when I was watching Avatar. I was like, oh shit, it's that guy with the cornrows.
Carol Stroiken played Grandpa Flick. That's Lurch from the Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
Yeah. Cool that he was in this.
His first role was the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie by the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees movie? Who was he?
He played the Brute.
Oh.
Yeah. He was in Battle for Endor. Oh my God, I forgot about that. This guy, everyone recognizes him. He's,
He's the only guy that looks like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize he was the giant in Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was. And he was also in Big Fish, I think. Some Tim Burton movie.
I think he was. Oh, no, it's a different guy in Big Fish.
Oh, okay. Which is Ewan McGregor, I believe.
Just a quick rundown here. Alex Esso played Wendy Torrance. She was in... what is she? She was in a lot of horror films. Yeah. A lot of horror films. Jacob Tremblay played Bradley, the kid that got... the baseball player that got killed. Jacob Tremblay is
He's in all of Flanagan's movies.
Yeah.
Isn't he? He's also the kid in The Bad Kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. He was the kid from the Book of Henry. He's going to be in the upcoming Toxic Avenger movie.
Wow.
Huh. Yeah.
Wait, is he one of the kids? Wanda's kids?
Oh,
No, I don't. Is he? I don't think so.
Let's see.
Oh, maybe.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's not. But he's like he's like a very well-known Gen Z kid. And playing the ghost of Jack Torrance, Henry Thomas from E.T.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep. He's in all of Flanagan's stuff.
Yep. He did a pretty good Jack.
Yeah, it was all right.
People were very upset about this. I remember after the movie came out, of course, because people are stupid and upset about anything. But I thought it was great that they didn't try and deep fake or like hide his face or obscure anything. They just went for it, man. Just go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
And he didn't do a Nicholson impression the way that like stand-up comics do a Nicholson impression.
Yeah.
He kind of did his own thing, but he still brought that energy.
Well, he kind of did Nicholson doing Lloyd the bartender.
Yeah. It was so
Great way to put
subtle. Like he was, and denying the Jack Nicholson-ness of himself the whole time too, which was fun. I like that scene wasn't in the book, but that gave him like full license to do whatever he wanted with that moment. Because that's like the emotional crux of the movie. I think.
Absolutely.
That is important. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that scene is either extremely therapeutic or extremely traumatic. I'm not really certain which.
It's a little bit of both, man. It's a little bit of both.
On the polarity of Danny and Jack and how weak of spirit and will Jack was.
Yeah.
Compared to, it literally took one scene with the bartender, with Lloyd, for Jack to be like, I'm back. I'm off the wagon. I'm all this shit. But Dan had the wherewithal, the sobriety to be able to no.
Well, and they both drank for a reason, but one reason was justified, which is like, I am fucking magical and I need to not feel this magical power. Whereas Jack was just drinking to avoid his family and responsibilities and pain.
His life and his failures.
He drank like the rest of us, whereas Dan drank like, like a Jedi drinking to hide the Force, basically.
Yes.
Or like booze was his fortress of solitude. It's like Superman. If you can hear that many different people, you'll never.
It's like Obi-Wan just watching Luke with those binoculars the whole time.
Well, I was going to say in this movie, The Shining is very much the Force. It has a similar kind of vibe. You can sense it.
Couple small details. It's very interesting. So the steam comes out when you're scared or injured. At the end of The Shining, because it's so cold, there's a lot of steam coming out of Danny's mouth as he's running around.
Oh, that's interesting. And Jack, when he dies, when he's sitting there shivering, consider the steam aspect of that. King is so clever at like drawing on things that he already did.
Then also, I noticed a small detail. People keep calling Danny Pup throughout this. Just random people will be like the lady that was the landlord for his little attic apartment was like, "You're going to vouch for this pup." And then Jack calls him Pup later. I think there's one other incident where someone else calls him Pup. I believe
Rose calls Abra Pup at one point too.
Yeah. I believe that Jack called Danny Pup in the book of The Shining.
We were talking about. We'll get there. Cart before horses.
So this film has 78% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
That's
good.
Fair.
Yeah.
And I have a few Letterboxd reviews here.
Shining. 5 stars.
The one thing The Shining was missing was a vampire subplot. 5 stars.
Hey, man. After watching Flanagan's movies or his series, I agree.
Well, it's
vampires
satisfying.
make anything better.
Naturally, there would be people. There are Siths to Jedis. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's comfortable to the mind.
And it's a real world application of the idea of what a vampire is. This isn't a vampire movie, but they're vampires.
Yeah, they are absolutely vampires.
Sucking your acid, sucking your wills, sucking what makes you unique.
Yeah.
What connects you to other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is better than them drinking blood too.
Oh, absolutely.
Drinking blood is such a base. It's such a base thing for vampires. Whereas like this, it's like stealing life essence is magic.
Drinking blood is so 1892.
Yeah. Some like alchemy level of magic kind of shit. Like
when they had Capri Suns of blood back then.
Drew Toothpaste writes, an alcoholic tells a teenager she has a special gift. Those are Justin Roiland's allegations. I also watched this movie. Half a star.
Jesus.
Let's see. This was basically Monsters, Inc. 5 stars.
Oh my God, Andrea said that. That's exactly what she said. She's
They even have the
it's just
canisters?
Monsters, Inc." Yeah, they have the canisters, the thermoses. Oh my God.
Whoa. And Kay writes, why did everyone dress like they were on Ink Master? Half a star.
There's no folk like carny folk.
I like the character design of all the fucking weird wandering caravan people.
I do too, yeah.
Because they designed themselves. That's what I assumed. Like they had all this time and resources to become what they wanted to become.
I love that their nicknames are so Stephen King level. It's like, well, you wear a hat, so you're Rose the Hat.
Rose the Hat.
Because you
Which
have a
came
hat.
first?
Jimmy the Shoe. Why you call me Jimmy the Shoe?
I want you to
Because you
call me
always got
Rose the
shoes
Hat.
on.
You always got. They call me Eyeball because I got to.
You're Crow Daddy. Because you look like a crow.
Let's stop at Crow Daddy for some
Crow
wings.
Daddy is the most Stephen King name ever.
Yeah, for real. Well, and the most Stephen King name to give to the one native character in the movie.
Of course. Absolutely. Crow Daddy.
Oh, he wasn't in the book.
Oh, he was in the book, but he was not indigenous in the book.
No, he wasn't indigenous. That's what I meant. He was in the book. but he was
Absolutely
not.
believe that. Yeah. So that is it for the background, guys. You ready to jump into the movie?
Red rum.
You turn me
Yes,
right
sir.
round, baby, red round, like a record, baby. Red rum, red rum.
Well, I love that he explains Tony as well.
Yeah. Yeah. As a kid, and I did watch The Shining as a kid, probably I should
So did
not have. I always pictured Tony as Tony the Tiger.
Same.
A lot of time it was Tony Danza to me, which always made me chuckle.
I thought of Tony the
He's
Tiger.
the boss.
So, all right, here we go. This is Dr. Sleep. We open on a Kubrickian overhead shot of a camper, and we get the shining stings, the horns. Dun, dun.
Womp, 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 womp. Yeah. Winnie Carlos.
They used the old WB logo
Yeah.
Yeah. The shield? No.
from the 70s.
Yeah,
It was the flat one. The
the-
flat.
Oh, the same one that in The Shining. Star.
yeah, the non-CG one. Yeah.
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 Yeah. A little girl wanders off from her family. We were
I
talking
just want
earlier.
to say. Oh, go ahead.
We were talking earlier about how inattentive parents were in the 80s.
Yeah, she just said, I'm going to pick flowers. She's the little girl, Vicky, in It Chapter 2, the one who has the
yeah.
birthmark on her face.
All right.
She's in a couple of other things too.
Yeah.
She's. I think she's also in Flanagan's stuff. I think she might have played one of the daughters in Hill House.
There is a little girl in Hill House that's featured.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So she meets a lady in a hat who shows a magic trick.
Oh, you're Rose the Hat. Okay, that checks out.
They call me
so-
Rose the Hat.
I have a question about the hat. Let's just get this off the bat.
Okay.
She's been around for a long time. Is that the hat that Lincoln was wearing when he was assassinated?
Oh.
It wasn't wearing a hat. When he
Well,
was
I'm assuming
assassinated?
he was not wearing a hat because he's indoors. But is that Lincoln's top hat?
No,
I think
his
it's
was
too
much taller.
short. I think it's too short to be Lincoln's
That's not
top
a.
hat.
Fair.
That's not
He's
a
also-
stovepipe hat.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And he's a big man, so his head would be too big. But that was my thought. Was like she's old enough to have gathered things. Thinking of the 9/11 weird connection.
I'm sure in the book it's some sort of historical hat, but I don't know which one it is, and I'm not going to look it
I
up.
don't remember. Again, I don't.
It's
my
a very
memory.
special
But
hat.
I don't think
It's Chester A. Arthur's hat, as a matter of fact.
That's the hat of Alexander the Great.
that was his hat.
He wore that when he tried to conquer Asia.
I thought it was
lost.
The hat of Simon Bolivar.
I thought it was the hat that Jesus pulled the fish and loaves out of.
I love that in your mind that happened with a hat.
It's like
Jesus, the close-up magician.
It's like no, they're like handkerchiefs. The fish and loaves are connected, and he keeps pulling them out in one long string.
His mom's like, there's not enough wine at this wedding.
She was like, all right, let me get my tuxedo. So anyways, the little girl dies because the lady in the hat and her friends are psychic vampires.
I love the setup for this. This is really scary without them doing anything scary. The people in the distance, the leaves snap.
Yeah.
And the girl being like, she's like, oh, those are just my friends. And then you see more of them, and then more of them.
I was going to say, every time the little girl turns back, there's more, and they're closer.
Yeah.
And that's creepy.
And they're not doing anything. It's just so
that's what's creepy.
He's so good at setting up things that are relatively like harmless to be like, oh, fuck, I should be a little unsettled by this.
Yeah.
Right. It confuses your fight or flight. You know, someone running at you, your brain immediately registers that as a threat. But just like your brain doesn't know what to do. They're not doing anything. Why am I threatened? This is very threatening.
It reminds me of the hedge mazes. Or not the hedge mazes, the hedge animals in The Shining. Anytime in The Shining, Danny looks at them, they're not moving. And then he looks away and they're closer.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most like visceral moments I've ever had reading a book, was that memory of that. But that's what that reminded me of. And I'm pretty sure that Flanagan was like, oh, how do I bring that thing that was missing from the movie into this? And he did it with people instead. Anyways.
Cool.
We cut to Danny Torrance riding his big wheel in the Overlook Hotel. It's 1980, by the way. I forgot we got a title card. It's 1980. He stops at room 237, and we got our first sexy old crone sighting.
Yep. Yes.
And again, the door opens, and the sexy old crone comes to him in the hallway.
Yeah, he does not go in to the room.
Right.
Which, knocks down the like, he went in and Jack went in after him.
Yeah.
Not that it knocks it down. I mean, the first movie's obvious, but this movie is doing a lot of
it's I think it's subtly helped the idea that like these entities can be outside. The Shining made them all very trapped in the Overlook Hotel, but then they're obvious because the sexy old crone kind of follows Danny, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they needed a vehicle to leave.
Well,
with.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
What they kind of say in the end is that because the hotel got shut down, they became very hungry, so they started reaching out from beyond the hotel. Whereas before, they had enough people coming into the hotel that they got fed.
Yeah. Yep.
He wakes up. I guess that was a dream flashback. It's after the events of the hotel. He goes to the bathroom. Sexy old crone's in the bathtub. He pees himself. Wendy finds him. We learn that Danny hasn't spoken since the hotel incident.
And when he's trying to go to the bathroom and he's seeing the crone, that's where there's that weird hallway that looks like the magic room in the office.
It's got the window up above. Yeah.
With all the greenery. Mm-hmm. It's not impossible, but it just harkens to that.
Yeah. So a little later at the beach, Dick Halloran shows up. The ghost of Dick Halloran shows up to talk to Danny. He tells him that he can capture the ghosts of the Overlook.
Dick was from Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't even think of that.
Shit, Josh.
Miami.
Yeah. In case you didn't know it.
That's interesting. I love that they just set him up sitting on the bench with Dick.
Yeah.
Instead of him going out and wandering off and then sitting down. Like, it's confusing. It's a little jarring.
Mm-hmm. But Flanagan does it several times where, like there's Shining communication, but the person's in the room.
Yeah.
As if, you know what I mean? It worked. But sitting on the bench with him, that.
Yeah. So he teaches him to capture the ghosts of the Overlook and put them in little boxes in his brain. Brain boxes.
Made of ticky-tacky.
Yes.
This reminded me of Jesse's box in Breaking Bad.
I wish that I had Jesse's box.
Where that was how he survived his imprisonment. But like him thinking about every grain and the smell of the box and being intimately familiar with it.
Yeah.
That's like it's like the mind palace idea that we get to later in the movie. But like it's such an interesting thing to give you such a small focus to rescue yourself with, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a common psychological, like, you know, it's not invented.
Yeah.
People do that, especially childhood abuse, trauma, and such.
Yeah.
You have to compartmentalize.
You need a place to put those things so they're not wandering free.
Literally compartmentalizing. Yeah.
It's a real technique.
Yeah. So later that night, he puts the sexy old crone in a box. Justin Timberlake would go on to put something else in a box.
SOC in the box.
Yeah. And he begins talking again. He's watching Looney Tunes with Wendy.
I also love that he just talks.
Yeah.
He just immediately talks, and Wendy doesn't do what I would expect Wendy to do, which is freak out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're talking. Oh boy. She just was like a good parent, like, oh, hey, cool. Say nothing. You're going to freak him out again.
Yeah.
Once Dick helped him put those things in the right places, he could talk again. You know, it was cool.
It's nice that he never did have to put Dick in a box.
There it is. You were so close.
Brought it full circle. I didn't think
even
of it
though
the
he
first
almost
time.
did.
He almost
Totally
did.
almost did.
He almost did. Yeah. We cut to 2011.
Almost did. Yeah.
Danny's become an alcoholic to suppress his shining. He gets in a bar fight, has a coke and booze fueled night with a single mom, steals her money, and runs away.
Well, and the bar fight's not a superfluous bar fight. It seems like he was standing up for somebody.
Her, because she was so turned on. Like when she straddles him, his lap, she's like, I can't remember what she said, but she's reimagining the fight. Like you really
did you kill him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, turned her on.
Yeah.
One of those girls.
Yep. Then we meet Andy. Snakebite Andy. She's a young girl with shining powers. She's been meeting...
I'm sorry. I think it's important to say that the chick he was with, he wakes up and leaves her passed out. She has some vomit, so she may have already asphyxiated. But then she has a toddler that he puts in the bed. They come back. They come back in the, you know, like the cadre of ghosts that are haunting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he leaves the kid there on the bed with her passed out, steals her money. Just some real shitty stuff.
Yeah, super shitty.
Makes Jack look good. Nice.
Yeah. So we meet Snakebite Andy. She's a young girl with shining powers. She's been meeting pedophiles, marking them with a snake bite mark on their faces.
Badass.
Yeah. Rose the Hat and Crow Daddy find her. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say.
Also headlining Bonnaroo this year.
Rose the Hat, Crow Daddy, and Snakebite Andy.
It's like a bunch of alt bluegrass.
Rose the Hat, along with Mott the Hoople and Toad the Wet Sprocket, and Portugal the Man. Anyways, they kidnap her.
Anyways, so they just sort of turn her.
They don't kidnap. Wait, no, they do.
They do kidnap her. Yeah. At the beginning.
Rose puts her to sleep. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a real light kidnapping. Like, it's not aggravated.
It's they committed some light kidnapping.
Like we took her, she woke up, very comfy.
It's not like later on when they kidnap the baseball kid in a literal kidnap van with no windows.
I have so many questions about that kid. But
God, yeah.
Does she? So she can eat the steam. So anyone can. You just got to get into it.
I guess anyone. I think anyone that can with the shining can eat the steam because they can see the steam.
I see. So that's her shining ability.
But also, they did a thing to her before she ate the steam. Like she did some magic head thing.
Oh, right. They did a little. Yeah.
Yeah. So they induct her into their gang of psychic vampires. When you're a jet, you're a jet.
Also, I haven't noticed Fox News.
Yeah. She'll live long and prosper. They consume the steam, which is the psychic essence of those with the shining that escapes when they're afraid or dying.
They keep it in a thermos when they're not.
It in a thermos. Like soup.
Like soup.
We cut to a little girl's birthday party. We meet 5-year-old Abra Stone. She has the Shining too, and a very mid a magician at her party.
Yeah, at her princess party.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does some Uri Geller type showing off.
Yeah, it's all about spoons.
Starts playing the spoon. Ants.
The spoons on the ceiling reminded me of Poltergeist
Mm.
with all the stacked furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just the mom staring up the whole time while the dad's looking at the counters, being a little weirded out. I love that. Like that. Just they're tricking us as the viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's all forks on the floor and all spoons on. But yeah, he walks in like any dad would. Like, what the fuck? What's going on?
Who made this mess?
Yes. No need to look up. The bullshit's down on the floor.
Also, that house is big enough. They definitely have like wait staff.
I love that the dad's a writer,
house.
Stephen King, and
who is very rich.
very
He
rich.
is a
That
very
house is
successful writer.
insultingly large
Who
for three
lives
people.
in New England. Steve writes what he knows.
There's like a family of 8 who's like, he outbid us. He didn't get the house.
Yeah.
So when Abra did the spoon thing, the spoon ceiling thing, Danny and Rose both sense it from far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She casts a long shadow.
Yeah. She has big shining. She's like Anakin Skywalker of The Shining.
But
she is
spoon
a
ceiling
Taurus.
thing. Band name called it.
Was Jack the chosen one?
Yeah, that's right. In the book, she is. You could just give people the shinning.
Meanwhile, Dan's hit rock bottom. He wakes up under an underpass. He gets a psychic message to go to a small New Hampshire town, gets off the bus, and immediately gets a job. That's some white male privilege.
That is. You're a white man. Would you like a job?
I think it's The Shining.
Yeah.
I think more than anything. I think that he sees him and he's like, you look like you need work. You look.
Yeah, Billy shines too. Just not to the same extent. He's
just a little bit.
He's got a little shining.
His story later.
But then there's also the alcoholic in recovery. You know, we can kind of. You can tell.
He can. Yeah, you can see it. You know that look of somebody who has not had a drink for a day or two at least.
Yeah. The model of the town in the park, that is such a Stephen King-y thing.
Well, and an allusion to the Jack looking over the maze.
Yep.
The miniature version of the maze.
Yep.
Right.
That shot of him walking up to it too was really cool. 'Cause it's confusing. You're like, oh, that's the same place. What is he walking up to? This movie does a great job of introducing a shot that is confusing at first.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. It's Mike Flanagan's visual style is very interesting because he quotes Kubrick throughout, but then he has his own style in most of the film, which is not even a little Kubrickian, but very distinct and interesting.
Yeah. And when the Kubrickian moments happen, they're obvious.
Yeah.
It's so like, but without it being like cheesy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
Like tracking shots and everything throughout the hotel are all like shot for shot, exactly how you frame them.
I mean, he literally recreates Danny going through the hotel on a big wheel. Like, yeah. The shot of going down the river, the helicopter shot, like, yeah. like just quotes him straight out.
That's the original shot. I have so many questions about that part of the movie. We will get there later. But yeah.
So Billy takes a liking to Danny. Being an ex-alcoholic himself, gets him a job and a place to stay. It's an attic apartment with a very grumpy landlady and a chalkboard wall.
$85 a week for a loft? Hell yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
In beautiful downtown New Hampshire.
New Hampshire is just one town.
It's one town.
He begins attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings with Billy. There he helps a hospice doctor find his watch using the shiny.
That was a weird moment. This is one of those moments where I'm like, why did you tell him this?
It's a watch, dude. Just let it go.
It was weird.
It's a watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, it's like Obi-Wan trying to help all those people without using the Force. It's like, dude, you're going to give yourself away, man.
Yeah.
Aren't you trying to hide this thing?
The doctor should have been like, you've got The Shining. You're Danny Torrance from Colorado.
You stole my
doctor.
watch. I'm calling the police.
You totally stole my watch.
Who's anonymous now?
Yeah, this drunk vagrant came into my town and stole my watch and then rubbed my face in it. That's how
It was a
happened.
drifter.
But no.
He's the town doctor.
Yeah.
Like,
Stephen King.
Watches
The town doctor. Yeah. Yeah, but no. We're all white men, so he gets a job instead.
I love he's at the meeting. He's like, I delivered half of these people, but you didn't intervene in their terrible alcohol. I just watched them. We all got drunk around here.
I'm here to pick them up.
I delivered half these people, but I'm 65 and some of them are in their 50s. So how long have I been practicing medicine?
What he means by
it's the other
delivered
half.
is he works for the post office.
That was Doogie Howser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce Springwood is Doogie Howser. MD.
Yeah. So
When he offers him the job, I don't know why I love this line, but the doctor says, because he wants to bring him on as an orderly part-time, 3 days a week at the hospice. And he asks, do dying people bother you? And Danny responds with, no, we're all dying. The world is one big hospice with fresh air.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
You're not busy being born.
That's such a perfect description of reality.
Yeah. From the moment.
I mean,
It's macabre, but from the moment we're born. We've
It's
been
true.
dreaming.
yep. So on that note,
I think it's important to the.
it is. It is. On that note, he
Do dead people bother you? No, they're dead.
yeah.
How could they bother me?
if they did, that'd freak me out, man.
They just keep calling your phone and hanging up.
Most of them mind their own business.
Yeah, they're dead. They're dead.
Sometimes they ask for change, but we're in a mostly cash-free society now, so it's not working out for him.
I know it's so.
One night he uses his shining to comfort a dying patient along with the help of a psychic cat.
That's a thing, though.
Yeah.
You've read about it before.
That's
right?
totally a
in
thing.
many Stephen King books I've read about it.
Well, I've read about it in anecdotal, real life type stuff,
Sure.
where animals just seem to know.
Yeah. Family pets know.
Yeah.
Family pets know when other pets are going to die too.
Yeah.
It's been theorized, and there's been some work on it that dogs can smell tumors, can smell cancer.
Yeah, there was
there was like a high level of accuracy. There's like there's dogs that can smell like lymphoma and stuff.
there was a
which is
lady
interesting.
that could do that a couple years ago. that I remember. A lady. So
A human or a woman?
one or the other. So he gets nicknamed Dr. Sleep by the patients. After work, he goes home to find a psychic message on his chalkboard wall. He writes back, and we see it's Abra, the little girl with the psychic powers he's talking to.
So they call him Doc. They've always called him Doc.
Yes.
Tony is him in the future. Doc is also him in the future. It's interesting.
But he even says Tony was just the name he gave to the voice of The Shining, the voice that speaks to you. He just called it Tony. Everybody has it.
Canonically, it was himself in the future, right? That was communicating with Danny in the actual Overlook Hotel in the first book.
Is that explicitly said in the film?
No. In the book itself, I think in the first book, it was implied that he was communicating with himself as a child so that he would survive.
Okay,
basically.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird because it's like a causal time loop kind of thing. Like, you need to do these things to survive, and if you don't, I'll die. Like, what?
I'm going to fade out of a photograph as I'm teaching Chuck Berry rock and roll.
Back to the Future.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, we cut to 2019. Dan's 8 years sober. He's still doing the Dr. Sleep thing with the same old cat. He's communicating with Abra through the chalkboard wall. We see that Abra's now a teenager.
He's been clean this whole time.
Yep. Meanwhile,
He found purpose.
Yeah.
And he found connection with his father.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through this process. The speech he delivers at his 8-year meeting, he always knew him as an angry person, but now he knows him because at one point Jack Torrance got his 5-month chip and stood up there and did the thing. Not that was explicit in the previous film, but
yeah,
he's, I don't know, understanding his father better,
right,
having gone through this alcoholic process.
Yeah,
and accepting The Shining as a possibly positive. But you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If he continued to be drunk, he wouldn't be able to be Dr. Sleep and help these people because it would be so dulled. So he literally found purpose in that. Like, I can use this for good.
Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, we check back in with the True Knots. They are not doing so good. Steam's become increasingly rare due to the internet and antidepressants.
Some Scientology shit right there.
Yeah. The Crow Daddy has been scouting for a child with the shine. He has a lead on a kid in Iowa. In the meantime, the True Knots have to consume some old thermos steam.
Old
leftovers.
Steam.
Yeah, leftovers. They find the kid. He's a baseball player. And then after the baseball game, he's walking home alone on a creepy corn road.
And he's like one of the star players. So much so that two, I don't know if one was related, I'm assuming not, but like two adults in the stands are like, oh, he's going to be picked up by a scout. Oh, yeah, he's so. But yes, he wins the big game. Obviously, no one related to him attended this game.
Nobody.
Yeah, he's walking home at dusk. Yeah, it's incredible.
His parents are at home drunk.
On a completely abandoned road.
They are.
And the True Knots pull up in a classic molester van. White panel van, no windows in the back.
And a whole caravan of weirdness.
Yeah, classic. And apparently nobody told this kid about stranger danger because he should have just ran into the field.
It didn't have free candy painted on the side, so he wasn't suspicious at all.
It was Snake by Andy. Just pushed him immediately because that's what they called her. I don't know if we referenced that already. That she's a pusher.
Oh, we didn't say she was a pusher, but yeah,
pusher man.
So just immediately is like, you trust me.
Yeah,
you're gonna get in the van. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have been in that cornfield as soon as they were slowing down.
Yeah, no, I see a white panel van. I see a white panel van pulling up on me. I'm out of there.
Or like 10 vehicles. Just be like, nah, they don't need directions. I'm running.
They kidnap him. They take him to an abandoned
ethanol plant.
Yeah. And torture him to death for the steam. Abra can see what they're doing through her shine. Rose senses Abra watching.
And Rose indicates, maybe they had already said it, I don't know, but like the more that they hurt a kid, the better the steam.
Yeah.
It's not just
fear.
Yeah.
She said explicitly in this scene, pain purifies the steam.
Yeah. And later on,
it's not like Pennywise where it's just the fear. Like they literally torture to get it better.
Yeah. And she later on says that adult steam isn't as good, which is why they go after kids.
Yeah.
So Abra telepathically alerts Dan about the murder by scratching the word murder in the chalkboard. We get the red rum mirror shot here.
Exploding the word murder into the chalkboard.
Seen as how the landlady was so insistent that he not make trouble. I think she's going to be a little mad about the murder board.
Yeah, but for 8 years he did it from her.
She was like, "That's it. $85 a month is gone, buddy. You're out of here."
Oh, I guess it was
Or
at the
$85
end
a
of the
week.
8 years.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he comes back really after that to his place.
No, he's there a few times.
Does he show back up?
Or well,
Yeah, once or twice he does go back.
because he doesn't go on the road. Yeah, he doesn't go on the road trip for a little while yet. There's at least a few days here. So the next morning, we follow Abra to school. She downplays her powers to her mom. At school, she reads people's minds. They consider her a freak, a weirdo. This is the section that my Gen Z child was like, okay, this is all ridiculous. No one thinks like that. No one's like, ooh, freak, weirdo, you don't fit in anymore. He was like, and she printed out something from the internet? She printed it out? She didn't just look it up on her phone?
That's great. Oh my God. Oh wow, I feel old. Those are all such real things. Because like nobody does that anymore. That's not how kids treat each other at school. They bully each other in more subtle, nefarious ways.
Yeah. She would not have gone.
You call somebody a freak, you're getting suspended, young man.
Mm-hmm. She would not have. Yeah. And Judo's like, she would not have gone to a school computer and looked it up. She would have just been on her phone in her bed looking it up.
Yeah. It's true.
So.
Yeah, Stephen King bullies have stayed the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Stephen King bullies are still their classic 80s bullies.
Yeah, still. That's the way he thinks it's like.
Yeah.
Greasers and socias.
She finds out the info about the murdered kid on the internet. She goes home, uses her powers to find where the kid's buried. She falls asleep while she's asleep. She contacts Rose. Rose tries to get into her head and she pushes her out. That's then later on, Rose goes into her mind again and gets injured by a trap that Abra set with her files. And then Abra goes into Rose's brain. Rose finally escapes, but ends up actually being physically injured. She sends the other members of the True Knot out to find Abra.
I feel like you jumped over a lot there.
I mean, it's like 30 minutes of stuff, but it boils down to that.
But Abra ditches school. She takes the bus to Frasier.
Oh, this is after that.
Wait.
She said all of this happens before she even goes to meet Dan.
Well, I felt like so when
there was some cutting back and forth that I kind of put into one block. There was a lot of cutting back and forth where time.
There was the grocery store scene. I thought that was before. I thought that was before meeting Danny. Anyway,
it yeah, but and then the Mind Palace thing was after meeting Danny.
Yes.
Okay, that's. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I condense some of my notes sometimes, Al, instead of literally describing every single shot of the movie.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, Abra skips school. This is the other part where Jude was like, well, they're just going to call her mom. They're going to they're going to send her a text because you can sign up for text alerts from when your kid doesn't show up for school.
I'm like, dude, what are you, a narc?
Not in New Hampshire. They stick it in the mail.
Yeah.
And they print it off the internet and then put it in the mail.
And then mail it. Yeah.
And mail it via horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah.
Via seagull.
Yeah. So, she visits Dan in New Hampshire, the town of New Hampshire, and tells him about the True Knot. Tries to convince him to go to Iowa to dig up Billy so his parents can have closure and they can use his baseball mitt to find the True Knot because the True Knot was playing with his baseball mitt.
I really like that she knows that she's a bloodhound, that she is wired to be a bloodhound. She's like, if you get me that glove, I should be able to find him.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was so much like agency for a young character in a movie. They're not like, Abra, you have the power. Maybe if we get you the glove, you can find him.
No,
Maybe
she innately
love,
understands The Shining.
She gets it. She's like, I have this power. I've had it since I was a kid. I've been refining it over time. I've been practicing. I've been hiding it.
It's not something she wants to dull or mute.
She is very much like world's best detective with her powers.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know.
And Danny tells her, like, don't use it. Don't use your shining. Hide it. Like, tuck it away. And she doesn't buy into that for a second.
So anyways,
it's
just
very Obi-Wan
blasting.
again.
Yeah.
Like, don't use it. Don't let anyone know. You're
It's
a Jedi.
interesting how similar this is to his character in Obi-Wan.
The Force.
The television.
The Shining
series.
is kind of the Force in this.
Yeah, like very similar to his Obi-Wan series level.
Yeah,
of
the
Obi-Wan.
revisiting
Yeah,
it where it's like he's troubled by his past. He has a power that he's hiding.
Well, and that, like, the Jedi hunt themselves kind of thing. Like, if you put someone in danger, they can't help but out themselves. So that's what he's telling Abra, you know, like, you start saving people and you're just going to be a beacon, essentially.
Right. So this is the point. I think, is this where then he sees the dead lady he had sex with and the dead kid, and that's what convinces him to actually wake up Billy and go to Iowa?
The dead kid was what inspired him to go talk to Billy and go to AA.
And go to AA. That's right.
That was much earlier.
Okay.
But anyways, at this, so basically he decides that he's going to go ahead and help Abra. He wakes up Billy, and Billy's like, "You're psychic and we're going to Iowa? Get in the car."
Hell yeah.
You're psychic and we're going to Iowa. That sounds terrible.
This was the point in the movie. This is when Dick last showed up.
That's Dick
Dick Halloran.
convinced him to start. That's right.
He hadn't talked to Dick in like 8 years or something like that, or more.
You got to talk to Dick every day just to encourage it.
Exactly.
Give up, Dick.
Well, he asked him, how long has it been? Time is weird on his side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he's very defensive now. So, like Al said earlier, he almost locked Dick in a box.
Well, and he's like hair trigger paranoid about all of the ghosts still. It's interesting that he still has that paranoia of like, fuck, let's trap it, get the box.
He's afraid of them eating him.
Yeah.
Yep. So
most of them were already trapped at this point. So he sees, when he sees Ghost Dick.
Go on.
Go on.
He's very quick to open a new box.
Aren't we all? Unboxing.
A Dick unboxing.
God damn it, it's a dick again.
So anyways, they go to Iowa and dig up Billy. And so this is, I did wonder, like, so I guess they could have made an anonymous call. Yeah. Never.
Yeah.
I just feel like the FBI would like, now, how do you know where this child's corpse is?
They're like, don't worry, we took a glove with us.
Wait,
fine, bye.
No, come back.
Well, and I mean, disturbing a crime scene and then leaving. There's a lot of like, I'm sure, not to say that I want to see that movie, but like, imagine being crime, like
CSI,
solving detective, like being like, so your husband was murdered and your daughter was kidnapped, and then she called and said, "I love you." Okay, let's track that car. It's driving to Colorado. They find her at a hotel in Colorado alone with the hotel burning to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Like, there's a weird, it's like The Shining. Like, what happened when they found Jack's body?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what did they do after Wendy and Danny came down off the mountain? They're like, oh, well, we'll just never go back there again. Or did somebody go up there and like put Jack's body into a bag and buried it in a hole somewhere?
Well, so they say they shut the hotel down after the events of The Shining, which is funny because they were like, okay, I guess that's one murder too many.
Yeah.
Shut it down now.
I've had all I can stand.
All the other murders we could overlook, but this last
we swept
one,
those. We literally swept those twins' bodies under the carpet in that hallway.
And it wasn't even technically a murder. Actually, Jack didn't actually get to murder anybody.
Yeah, try as he might.
So all of those actual murders were fine, but this last attempted murder. That's it. Close it down.
Well, they knew Wendy would talk.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was probably her
And they knew
tails.
she'd talk like this. Woo-hoo!
Like, yeah, if she gets on TV and talks about that shit, everybody's gonna get a headache.
Disney will sue us. So, anyways, they bring Billy's mitt back and show up.
Brad's mitt.
Brad's mitts. Yeah, Billy and Dan bring
Billy Bradsmith.
Brad's mitt back to Abra, and her dad's immediate like, "This is the adult man you've been talking to. What the fuck?"
I love that this is what happened, though. He's like, you got to show.
Just like he said.
You have to show your family because they are coming for you. They have to know. And she tells him, so he knows, you're Uncle Dan. And he says to her, I told you to show him.
I told him. He said, that's not
to show him. So she does.
And fuck, it rips his brain apart immediately.
Yeah.
He responds how I would respond if somebody showed me that terrible child murder in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Because that scene of him being murdered was so terrible.
Oh my God, that was awful.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking, because my friend does not like horror movies. And I was like, well, she likes Ewan McGregor a lot. She might like this. And we got to that sequence and I went, nope. I don't want a crying person in my house watching this movie.
Yeah, but so then the dad believes him. The mom is off with her dying mother, the Abra's grandmother, who is in hospice dying. Jude pointed out, like, that lady had the worst day ever. Her mother died. She comes home to find her husband dead and her daughter's been kidnapped. Like,
her husband murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that worst day ever.
Like this chick in the very bad, terrible, horrible day.
Right. And then after all of this, she's just like hanging out, like we cut to like after everything's been resolved, she's just fine and like, hey Abra, have a good night. It's like, no, this is not how this woman's life is going.
Should
Husband's
she should have bags under her eyes. She should be weeping after she leaves the room. She should be drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Like,
instead of just like, everything's fine now and I've connected to my daughter over her psychic powers.
yeah, where's
In
our
fact,
Stephen
Danny
King ending?
Danny takes the death of these two strangers harder than this woman takes the death of her
Her
You know what I
mother
mean?
and husband on the same day.
Right.
That's some Teddy Roosevelt shit.
Yeah. So
Abra shined her.
Oh
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
be like, you're not sad.
Like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
These are not the grief you're looking for.
all is
Not the
well.
grief you're looking for. Obi-Wan Kenobi, grief counselor.
They also have a Scientology type attitude. Just
Oh
like,
my
it's
God.
in your head.
Well, grief counselor, fish butcher.
He does
He's
it
had a lot
all.
of extra jobs on the
Does
side.
it all.
He does it all. Fishmonger, therapy. He's just every mark that he's scored.
Kidnapper of orphans. Yeah.
Like hidden.
And children with parents at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that she wants to go. He's kidnapping
Yeah.
that girl.
Can you steal an orphan, or are they just up for grab?
Free kid.
take a penny, leave a penny?
Free kid.
I've got news
Yeah.
for you. Kids ain't free. Ever.
No, ever.
So, all right.
Yeah, I've managed to be childless, like intentionally. I can't imagine stealing somebody else's.
Yeah, I know. I got enough.
Drag.
I got enough trouble with my own. Anyway, so they set a trap. They lure the true knot that went after Abra out into the woods.
We get Billy's story about the deer. He's telling him about the deer. That's why he gets the idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
that,
like,
that was back when they were digging the kid up. It's like, that's what I smell now. That dead deer. That's the
Yes.
same smell.
Yeah.
that setup is so great too, because the first thing that he says before they go on the adventure: try your hardest to believe what I tell you. That's such a great setup for that. But then they've driven across the country. They're digging a fucking shallow grave to find a kid's body, and he's telling the story, and you're thinking, like, does he have The Shining? No, he's just talking about the fucking smell.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But that plants the idea of, wait, you still have those hunting rifles. I love that the solution to magic is bullets. Harry Potter, listen up.
Just
Harry
like
Potter,
in our universe.
That was awesome. I cannot believe they just shot them all.
They just
awesome.
They drew them in, and I mean, realistically, they got higher elevation. They're hidden from the trees. They're all armed with handguns and
So you'd say he has the high ground?
He literally has the high ground. Oh my God, Josh.
Yeah, so they lure the true knot into the woods and just shoot him. They just fucking kill him.
Just fucking kill them. Like
They
a
have to
bunch of
basically-
child predators. They are.
They have to basically double tap every one of them.
Yeah.
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 They do, because they're not alive. They're not really human.
The last one they get is Snakebite. What's her name? Snakebite
Andy.
Snakebite Andy.
Tony.
Yeah, Snakebite Andy, who manages to push Billy to kill himself before she finally dies. But the crow isn't there. He shows up at Abra's house and kidnaps her.
He's in the city of angels.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Crow Daddy isn't there.
Crow Daddy.
There were elements of this that I loved. The fact that she's like, one of them is missing. She's been watching and counting their kills. She is Overwatch for these guys.
Yeah.
She's literally giving them information psychically from across the country. And because she's so focused, she doesn't realize that her father was just murdered downstairs.
Yep.
And that the Crow Daddy is in her room. Also, I think his
Crow
power.
Daddy's in the room.
I think his power, because they all have different powers. Rose the Hat says, like, we haven't seen a pusher in a long time.
Mhm.
Ooh, a pusher with that kind of power.
Well,
Ooh.
and Andy's. Yeah, that's right.
And some of them pull, and Andy is like a sleep person, or she's like has the power of influence or whatever. But I think Crow Daddy's power is to sneak. I think he is a spy, like
a sneaky guy,
healthy character.
Yeah,
because he winds up doing that. He does that more than once, right? Where he's somewhere that you didn't expect him.
Yeah.
Or like he surprises Rose at some
under
point.
the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sneaky crow daddy. Well, but also
I didn't expect you.
Also, he's a crow that collects shiny things. He goes out and finds the shining kids with the shining.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
bro! Damn.
Yeah, he's a scout. He was the one who scouted out Brad in Iowa. He's a finder, and that's why he found
the pusher.
He found her.
Yeah.
And he knows.
Yeah, he found Andy the pusher, but that's how he
knows
finds
about
her, even though they've set a trap.
He knows their history and stuff too. It's interesting because the whole tracker trope being native.
Yeah, of course.
Come on, Stephen King. I don't think that Stephen King made that character native in the book, though, right? Crow Daddy didn't exist.
No, I don't believe.
Well, Crow
so.
Daddy existed, but I don't think he was indigenous.
Oh yeah, the character existed. No,
nobody comes up with a
not
character named Crow Daddy except for Stephen King.
I don't know why it sounds like a theme restaurant, like a Bubba Gum. I don't know why.
So,
I mean, Crawdaddy would be like like crawfish restaurant.
That must be what it is.
Crawdaddies.
My brain keeps,
I don't know if I'd want to eat crow.
Nobody does.
They like eat human trash. Like it's like eating pigeon.
So Crow Daddy.
But like a chain of like cheesy motorcycle, like the Harley Davidson restaurant, like Crow Daddy.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
it doesn't make sense. You cannot associate it.
Yeah.
It's like a really racist Native American themed restaurant owned by white people.
Yes. Oh God.
Where they make like the wait staff wear headdresses and shit. Yeah.
So
that's the America Trump wants to bring back. I've been
Racist-
trying to open this
Absolutely
family
it is.
restaurant for 20 years.
Racist theme restaurants. Yeah.
Did you guys know that like over the weekend at a rally he brought up Hannibal Lecter? He thought he was talking about Anthony Hopkins, and he was even babbling about that shit. He's like,
no.
Did Hannibal Lecter
What?
love
Well, no,
him
and he was like,
loves
would you
Hannibal
rather?
Lecter?
He was talking about whether he'd rather be hanged or electrocuted. And he was like,
That was amazing. Well, no, it wasn't whether or not he'd be hanged or electrocuted. He was talking about whether or not he'd want to die in an electric boat by electrocution. Because the batteries are electric.
Because he was talking about how asylum seekers, they're all mental patients. That's why they're coming here, because there aren't enough room in their asylums.
Yeah, they're trying to find a new asylum.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm so.
That's what he. Yeah, he was taking a. Somebody said asylum to him. And that's what he thought.
I will never not be upset that people took this man seriously and took away what could have been a very entertaining sideshow for years by turning it into something dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah, Trump TV would have been way more entertaining than reality.
Could have been entertaining, harmless, and silly instead.
They're seeking asylum. Oh, you mean like Arkham?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
If he had just gotten Emmys for The Apprentice, we would never.
And if Obama hadn't made fun of him at that one correspondence dinner. Yeah, that's it.
Need I remind you, the night that he made fun of Trump was the night that Osama bin Laden was being assassinated. While he was doing his stand-up, that shit was happening.
That was the night that broke the right wing's brain.
Which is crazy, because that's the night that he killed Osama bin Laden. Well, like, that same night is the night that he lit Trump on fire and pushed him out a fucking window.
What a fucking day that was. Anyways. Like
Abra's mom's day.
Yeah. So anyways, Crow Daddy drugs Abra so she can't use her powers. She wakes up in the car. They're on their way back to Rose the Hat. But Dan uses his powers to talk to Abra and take over her body and causes the car to crash, which kills Crow Daddy.
Did you guys notice the detail to show that he was inside her? Oh, gross. When she's sitting in the back seat, she sits up and he goes, "Oh, awake again, huh?" He goes, "What am I on?" "Oh, I feel hungover. I've never felt this hungover before."
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't click in the guy's brain.
Yeah.
But if you look at her, she has Ewan McGregor's eyes.
Oh.
She has the dark bluish green eyes of Ewan McGregor, and they look sad and sleepy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's such a subtle detail. And I just love the fact that he is sitting in her body, looking at him, thinking about this, looks at the seatbelt. We think he's looking at the gun, and says out loud, "You're the kind of asshole who wouldn't wear a seatbelt because you think you're invincible." I love that setup. It's such a brilliant little subtle 1, 2, 3, bam, 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 and it's over. But damn, that's such a powerful little moment.
Yeah.
They've done a lot with her eyes in this movie. Back when she had the trap for Rose and went through the cathedral, she had the purple hair and the no eyes.
Did your kiddo catch what that anime was? RWBY?
Ruby.
She's a fan of some manga anime, and Ruby is her character that she likes. So that's who she is when she has the no eyeballs. Is that anime character? There's posters on her wall, and it's like a real property. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no. It's Ruby, and there's not actually a character named Ruby in it. But it is a team of teenagers. At least not that I know of.
Oh, RWBY is Ruby.
Yeah,
that's what it's. Okay, I was like, oh,
it's a team of teenagers that fight the forces of darkness. Which the first time anyone's ever come up with that.
Go.
It's just Scooby-Doo.
Blue-haired teenagers. Yeah.
So, so Dan comes, picks up Abra, and they drive to Colorado.
The fact that she is just like, well, he's dead. I better start walking, get away from the body.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's going to pick me up. There is a moment there where that has got to be the scariest moment of that little girl's life. She is alone in the middle of the forest, and she just killed the last of those guys, knowing that the other witch is out in the wild looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they don't show us that, though. They just show this kid stoic as hell throughout the whole thing.
No, this kid is on the ball. She knows what's going down, and she's doing it. Girl boss.
She has ice in her fucking veins, man. Yeah. She's like, I am a wizard. Nothing can stop me.
Hell yeah. No, if I had the force, I'd probably be like that too.
For real. Like this is a better version of Hermione, I think.
Yeah.
But like this is the capable, unflappable, like clearly a little bit afraid, but like, no, my magical powers will get me through this.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Hermione, who was like second guessing herself and worrying about how people viewed her and all that stuff. Like, it's cool to see that kind of character without the anxiety of being perceived as a muggle or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, they arrive at the Overlook, and Danny starts waking up the hotel. He turns on the boilers.
They drive up the winter road to the Overlook.
Yep.
They drive up the road to the Overlook.
Yeah. In winter.
Remember how they couldn't leave the Overlook unless they took the cat
because
out
it was
because
winter.
the road was impassable?
Right.
Climate
the
change.
Hotel. Well, the hotel. That's true. That's a good point. It's been 8 years. Oh, it's been more than 8 years. It's been 30 years, probably 40 years. The hotel is abandoned. No one's going up there. Why would they ever clear the
Plow
roads
those
to go up there
roads?
if the hotel is.
It's a good point. Yeah, they'd be even worse than they were.
I thought that was interesting. I thought it would have been interesting if they abandoned the car and got a cat. That would have just been me having Dan be like, "I've got $5,000 here, take it."
You got to get people up there as fast as possible.
We did get a shot.
Story-wise.
Story-wise, it makes sense.
We did get a shot of the gas station where Dick got the cat in The Shining.
Oh yeah. The shot of the overview shot of the helicopter shot as they're driving up is the actual shot from The Shining.
Okay.
But they CGI'd the snow.
Huh. Interesting. Rose arrives at the Overlook and comes inside. Dan and Abra are on the stairs in Wendy's position, but Dan has the axe. And it was an interesting mirror of the Wendy with the bat when Jack going up the stairs at her. So they put Rose into. She thinks it's Abra's brain, but it's actually Danny's, and she's in the hedge maze, and Abra keeps coming around and cutting at her tendons with a knife. But then Rose catches Abra and realizes that she's not in Abra's brain, she's in Danny's.
The box sneaking up on her.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the box, just kind of like inching its way towards her. The 1,000 cuts thing, they were trying to make her afraid to purify the smoke or the steam for the Overlook itself. They were prepping her. They were marinating her, if you will.
Yeah, so that the Overlook could eat her steam.
Or she would be more appetizing than the girl, I think was the goal. They had to make her a bigger target than
enough to satisfy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she comes out of that, and then Danny releases all the ghosts who overwhelm and eat Rose. But then
after they trade axe blows.
Yeah. Ooh, that was some rough axe work.
Yeah. He catches her shoulder and she catches his femoral artery. He's dead. He knows it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh, I can't imagine catching the fucking hook end of an axe into your thigh.
Oh God, that's gotta hurt.
I'd rather take the blade to my shoulder than the point to my thigh. Oh, just cut my arm off. Man.
Yeah, both are bad. Both are bad.
Yeah, both. You're probably not going to survive either of those.
Are those my choices?
Because
just hit me in the face, man.
Because I'm going to actually instead choose a feather to my belly.
Yeah, can I just have coffee and like a steak instead?
I really liked that.
Poison those.
I really liked that when Rose flung herself out of the labyrinth, she woke up at the typewriter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a cool detail. That was jarring too, because she has been
all
sent across the room.
Cattle.
Yeah.
All hat, no cattle.
Yeah.
Makes Rose a dull boy.
So was that the same typewriter? Is that the same like Smith Corona, whatever they used? It didn't look like the same.
It wasn't Smith Corona. It was a German model that he used because it had that eagle. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the eagle that everybody thought the NASA.
But it was in the same spot that Jack rode at.
It would be weird if they chose a different brand of typewriter unless they just couldn't find something that looked the same. But I feel like they could dress something to look the same.
Or maybe because Rose didn't know.
Yeah. So, So then the ghosts attack Danny, and Abra runs to save herself. Danny comes after Rose being possessed. Oh, I briefly skipped over when he meets his dad as Lloyd the bartender, but we talked about it a bit earlier.
The cool thing about that shot, though, is that it's framed the same way. He's looking straight down the lens, and then we turn to see Lloyd.
Yes.
The same way that Jack is staring down the lens and we think he's losing his fucking mind with the Kubrickian animal stare.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a similar look.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I said, that might be one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, it's the emotional thing. He's the one who got Jack or Dan into this whole point.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the AA meeting where he's like, my father got this far, blah, blah, blah. Now I understand him.
But
had he not had that experience, he would have lost completely.
Very pointedly, at the same scene in The Shining, Jack takes the drink from Lloyd and drinks it. Danny does not take the drink from Lloyd/Jack to drink.
That's what I was saying earlier. He has much stronger will and presence. Yeah.
Well, and because of his life experience, he grew up watching his father try to murder him and his mother.
I think it's pretty.
Well, and he got clean and sober. Jack never actually did.
I think it's pretty clear that to some degree or another, Jack had some shining. Not like Danny did. But
I feel like we talked about that. Yeah.
I think
on our Shining episode.
We may have, yeah. Anyways.
Well, and it seems to be familial because Dick says my grandmother had the shining. We used to communicate with our eyeballs.
And it seems like in the book, it's much more than in the film. It's inferred that Abra's grandmother, who's dying, had some shining.
Yeah. Well, and the alcoholism thing was a bigger part of the book than it was the movie.
Yeah.
Too.
And of course, in the book, Abra is related literally to Jack and Dan.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Come on, George. I mean,
Steve. Yeah. So So Danny comes after Abra, like Jack came after Danny, and this is where they start actually kind of reenacting this final, the end of the book, The Shining. There's a moment where Danny's able to take repossession of his body. He tells Abra to run. She runs out of the hotel. He goes.
Abra gives him repossession of his body.
Yes.
He swings the axe at her, and she has touched his hand.
Mm-hmm. She uses the force to stop the axe.
He swings that axe over his head into her face, and she just touches his hand instead of trying to dodge it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Neo in the Matrix. Like,
yeah, that was a cool
dodge this. Like
you won't have to. Yeah. She runs out. Danny goes down to the boiler room, which is now overloading, and the hotel bursts into flames and burns down. The fire department shows up real fast.
Yeah, that's weird.
Up that road, yeah.
But Abra,
that makes me wonder: were the feds tracking Dan and Abra as a top 10 kidnapping case in the country? Because the fresher the case, the more resources they're going to pour into it.
Yeah, maybe.
Plus, I'm sure that there's probably better fire watch than there is murder watch.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm sure that they're like, oh, a fire up on the mountain? We have to stop that right now.
The murder watch? You're up in one of those towers with binoculars.
In downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, that's the murder watch.
So we got
to, so he watches murders? I don't know.
Yeah. We cut to some time later. Abra talks to Dan's spirit, much like he talked to Dick. Tells her she's fine. He comforts her, telling her to shine on, that he was wrong about hiding the shining.
Which is an homage to King's original influence for calling it The Shining.
Yes.
Instant karma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We all shine on.
Yep.
So him saying shine on, shine on Crazy Diamond too. I think that he was.
Yeah. He got it from Lennon. So she goes and tells her mom that she's been talking to Dan and her dead father, and they're all going to be okay. Her mom's like, yeah, no problem. That didn't affect me at all.
That's what sometimes husbands say.
she comforts her with the we continue on.
Yeah.
We do continue on. We don't just die.
I
I thought that was a cool way for her to comfort her mom instead of like, it's okay. Everything's fine. I'm okay.
I don't know that it's intentional, but it's funny how much this jibes with Kubrick's statement that he considers The Shining to be very optimistic because it says that there's life after death.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that's a real take. Like ghosts are an optimistic outcome.
Yeah.
I don't
true.
agree with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it was just funny that Kubrick famously said that. And this is like hits that point pretty pointedly. So, Abra finds the sexy old crone in the bathroom. In the bathtub, she closes the door behind her and takes that bitch out. She's a Ghostbuster.
Yep. Then she someday finds her own Padawan to train.
Yeah.
Well, I like that that's how they ended her arc, is she's still cleaning up the mess after they used all of Dan's ghosts and the things that haunted him. She is still cleaning up after that.
Yeah, she's got to put them back in the boxes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she has no fear of them. She doesn't need to drown. She doesn't need alcohol to drown out The Shining. She knows what's like. Just close the door. Fuck that bitch. The way that I want to react to a ghost. Should I ever see it?
You're like, I'm trying to sleep here. Can you put down the pots and pans?
The fuck are you doing?
What do you
want?
Your
is
worst,
my question to a ghost.
You're-
Like, what is it?
I mean,
dude?
to find
tell me.
your body and put it to
Stop
rest.
screaming.
Just
stop
use your words.
I want to react to
Okay.
ghosts the same way I react to a cat in the middle of the night. Like, what are you doing?
Right. What are you doing?
Get out of the cupboards and go to sleep.
Just kicking him off the bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that is it. Credits roll. That is Dr. Sleep.
And the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah. Dr. Sleep, the sequel to Dr. Mario.
Dr. Awake. Of course.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
This surprising.
It's better on rewatch, I think. I really enjoyed it in the theater, but also this is the extended cut. I think this is the first time that I had watched this version of it.
Oh, interesting.
I pulled up a YouTube video. I was like comparing The Shining to Dr. Sleep. I was curious if somebody had compiled everything. And there was a director's cut and a cinematic version. And this is like 8 or 9 minutes longer.
Interesting.
It's got all kinds of little scenes from The Shining, scenes in the beginning, scenes with Rose the Hat that weren't in the cinematic version, which it was so long ago when I saw it. It was 2019. It was a COVID ago. But yeah.
Any unanswered questions?
It's that road.
Not really.
Yeah.
Again, just why was that kid all alone after like one of the best games of his life?
Right.
Yeah, where's the coach? Don't you think he'd be like, dude, I'll drive you to
Where is anybody in this small
Any adult that's going to give the most famous kid in the game a ride.
Yeah, maybe one of the two adults talking about how talented he is.
Yeah.
That being said, he may also do the thing that I don't know if you guys ever were the kid who didn't have rides, is you just hide until everybody leaves and then you wait for your family to show up so it's not embarrassing. I've been there.
I definitely have not been picked up many times.
And then I've walked home after no one showed up thinking like, oh, I thought they were just late, but I'm going to go home because it's getting dark. I've been that kid before. So.
I mean, sure, but it wasn't like, I don't know.
I also didn't live in the middle of the cornfield, buttfuck nowhere.
I wasn't approached by a windowless panel fan.
Yeah.
And also, I hadn't swept the game. Like, I hadn't won the Little League championship. I was just another dumb kid who had to walk home.
I walked home from baseball games and soccer games and band events and stuff a lot. So, this is normal.
The only question I had, and I'm sure this was answered in the book, was how did Wendy die?
Cancer, I think.
Did they say cancer?
It was a smoke.
Because he said that she was covered in black flies. Her face was covered in it.
No, that's what he sees. No, but that's what he sees.
Yeah, it's not real, but yeah, she was like consumed by death.
Okay.
I think,
which I assume is cancer.
Makes sense.
I'm assuming sadness.
Yes, that's true.
We have no cure, and our robots don't have fingers. They only have paddles to deliver a baby. No,
that's the only thing that droid is for.
So, that's it. For our ranking of the Stephen King The Shining cinematic universe,
Yeah, The
We'll call this
Shining
number
is-
2, I guess.
Yeah, number 2 after The Shining.
Yeah, solid.
Second
two.
best Shining movie.
Yeah.
It's better than
really.
the TV series was.
Oh,
It's a really decent showing. Yeah.
yeah.
We should do the one with the guy from Wings.
Oh my God!
Serious?
Please no.
Oh
so
right,
bad.
the TV show.
This thing's
His
like
acting
10
is
hours
so
long.
bad.
No,
I've seen it, and it's so bad. That and The Stand are two of the worst adaptations.
Oh,
of Stephen
The Stand
King ever.
is amusing to me though.
It's
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
'Cause
The
it's got,
one
like,
with
Rob
Jamie
Lowe in
Sheridan.
it. Yeah.
I mean Sheridan.
Yeah.
Well, and the new one has Greg Kinnear, so it's like this weird, like, why are you choosing these people to be in this?
So all right. Any final?
Above or below the mist?
Oh, if we're talking Stephen King, it goes above the mist for me. I think.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
if we're just talking Stephen King, there are a lot of movies I like more.
I will say the last 3 seconds of The Mist are better than anything that Stephen King has ever done.
Yeah.
But this is better than that movie.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. That is it for Dr. Sleep. Next week on Haunted Phosphorescence, say it 3 times, guys. We're going to be watching Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Yes,
All right.
indeed. It's been a while for me. They
Oh, not me.
they were apparently 2 days away from finishing shooting Beetlejuice 2 when this actor's strike started. They got like 2 days of pickup shots left.
And somebody from around the town in Vermont stole one of the sculptures. You know, the like hand-looking sculpture.
Yeah.
Some locals or kids, I don't know, stole it.
Wow.
So they didn't recover it.
Oh man.
That's a cool thing to have in your backyard, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah. So that's next week on Haunted Phosphorescence. Until then, I too am off to relive a traumatizing experience from my childhood. I'm going to go watch Alf.
Traumatizing. I'm Josh Cece, and there's just homemade wine in my thermos.
Look, Lloyd, you're my father. Now get in the box. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm not the last one to say goodbye, but I am the prettiest. Shine on, you crazy diamonds.
You're
I'm
both.
Al.
You're both, Al.
Shine on.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.